Welcome to my reading of Emmanuel Levinas' Totality and Infinity. I would like to discuss Section 1, Part A, Subsection 1, titled Desire for the Invisible. Levinas begins this passage of the book with a standard philosophical question: what is metaphysics? He will give many answers to this question, and in a couple of subsections from now, we will get Levinas' take on what metaphysics is. For now, however, Levinas gives us a non-controversial definition on page 33. He writes that metaphysics appears as a movement going forth from a world that is familiar to us toward an alien outside of oneself. This is non-controversial insofar as many philosophers have made similar claims. Metaphysics goes beyond our usual ways of being in the world. It goes beyond our habits, our customs, etc. We often talk about metaphysics being a way to go beyond appearances to some kind of reality otherwise ignored. So in this sense, Levinas is in step with the traditional understanding of metaphysics. It is important to keep this fact in mind. Levinas is doing metaphysics and presents metaphysics in such a way to stay in conversation with those before him. He describes metaphysics as a kind of desire, a desire for that which is outside of oneself. We now begin to see Levinas stake his own position here. Levinas tells us that outside of oneself is not synonymous with external objects or the not me of the universe. Instead, metaphysics desires the absolutely other. This term will get described in more detail in a later subsection. He gives us some clues, however, to help us think about the absolutely other in this subsection. The object of metaphysical desire, though not an object in the ordinary use of the term, is nothing with which we are familiar. Levinas says that the absolutely other is foreign to us. This differentiates metaphysical desire from other kinds of desires, which are satisfied in tangible, visible, and obvious ways. For example, hunger is satisfied by food, thirst by drink, and sexual desires are satisfied by having sex. But metaphysical desires are never satiated, because the object of metaphysical desire is, as Levinas writes on page 34, beyond everything that can simply complete it. Metaphysical desire cannot be satisfied. This object of metaphysical desire is intangible, invisible, and far from obvious. Levinas uses the term height to represent the higher sense of this object of metaphysical desire. Height here is not a relative or comparative term. The object of metaphysical desire is absolutely other, purely exterior, that is, beyond even what is other than us. It is higher than us. It is something we cannot comprehend. Levinas ends the subsection with one of my favorite quotations: "To die for the invisible. This is metaphysics." I immediately think of Socrates, of course, who was willing to die for the truth of the higher. In the Christian tradition, we have Jesus and the martyrs, all of which were willing to die for the invisible. What a rich opening 3 pages of this text we've seen. I look forward to reading more of the text with you, and I hope you enjoy Levinas and approve of this podcast. Thanks for listening. Section 1, Part A, Subsection 2 will be coming soon. Goodbye.